You've likely encountered someone like this before. In fact, it might even be your own story. They are the most observant person in any gathering, always laughing at the right cues, remembering every minor detail about a stranger, and showing up for others with a precision that feels almost too perfect. They seem to truly understand you. But the moment you try to cross into their inner world, you hit something invisible, a barrier. It isn't that they're being mean. There is just a hard limit on how close you can get. People who struggle to trust aren't who the world thinks they are. We usually picture the angry hermit, the cynic who thinks everyone has a hidden agenda, or the person who expects the worst from everyone. While those people exist, the real psychology of deep-seated distrust usually looks much more polished. It looks like someone who is actually fantastic at social interactions. On the surface, they are generous, adaptive, and supportive, but they are secretly making sure you stay far enough away to never hurt them. This is a fortress built over many years. We often forget that trust isn't a mood or a personality trait. You aren't just born with or without it. Trust is a logical conclusion. It's a decision your nervous system makes based on data collected long before you were even old enough to speak. John Bowlby, the pioneer of attachment theory, showed how our earliest bonds create a working model for our brains, acting as a neural template for every person we meet later in life. The question, "Can I rely on others?" gets answered very early. And once your body has an answer, it does everything to protect that truth. So if you grew up where the people meant to love you were actually unsafe, where care was inconsistent and love was full of strings, and the person you ran to for comfort was also the person you feared, your brain didn't just learn that those specific people were dangerous. It learned a much darker lesson. It learned that people in general are a threat. That lesson follows you into every new friendship and relationship. It stays with you until the old information starts screaming. What's really happening inside someone with no trust? And I really want you to think about this, because it's an exhausting battle between wanting love and believing it's dangerous. Because let's be clear, people who don't trust still want connection. The need for others doesn't just vanish. The ability to love is still there. But what shrinks is the belief that letting someone in is safe. Living with this mindset is incredibly draining. You meet someone great, you feel that spark of hope, but almost immediately, you start looking for the catch. Your brain has seen this movie before, and it thinks it knows the ending. So you scan for small lies or for the moment they change. You wait for them to show you who they really are. And the saddest part, that scanning creates a distance. To the other person, it looks like you don't care. But in reality, you care so much it's terrifying. Psychologist Jennifer Fried uses the term betrayal trauma. It describes what happens when the person you depend on is also the one hurting you. Whether it was a parent or a partner. To survive, a child's brain actually suppresses the truth of the betrayal. You learn to not know what you know, and make excuses for it. But when you do that for years, you stop trusting your own gut. That is the most painful part. The distrust turns inward. You start asking,
am I being too sensitive?
Am I the problem? People whose feelings were ignored as kids often become adults, who are hyper-aware of others but totally unsure of themselves. They can read a room perfectly, and then spend hours second-guessing it.
That's not a flaw, it's just a broken compass.
The ways we cope with this are both fascinating and heartbreaking. Some people become avoidant. They keep things shallow on purpose. They pick fights the second things get too serious. Others become anxious, always checking, testing, and monitoring. And some flip between both, pulling you close and then pushing you away. To an outsider, it looks like a game.
Look at them! What are they even doing?
It's like a weird game they're playing.
To them, it feels like drowning. But here is what matters most. The loyalty of someone who doesn't trust. Once they let you in, they are ferociously loyal. Because deciding to trust when your brain says run is a huge risk. It's an act of pure bravery that most people will never understand. When someone who has spent their life protecting themselves decides you are worth the risk, they don't do that casually. They give you everything they have. That's also why a betrayal hits them so much harder. It's not just a lost relationship, it's proof that things won't change. Building real trust is a very slow process. It's slower than anyone wants it to be. It doesn't happen through big promises. To someone who expects betrayal, words don't mean much.
It happens through earned security. This is when repeated safe experiences slowly rewrite the brain.
It means showing up the same way on a boring Tuesday as you did when you were first trying to impress them. It's the small, boring moments of reliability that the brain finally starts to believe. No grand gestures, just being who you said you were over and over. And it's not a straight line. Healing has moments of openness followed by sudden withdrawal. It's just the old architecture testing the weight of something new. If you recognize yourself in this, not just in your head but in your gut, I want you to know that the way you love is not small. Your capacity for connection despite everything is incredible. You built a fortress just to survive, and it kept you safe. Now the work is deciding which of those walls you actually still need. If you want to dive deeper into these ideas, and you enjoy these deep dives, please subscribe.
Your support keeps these psychology videos going. I appreciate all of you.
Click here to see our next video.